Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another day of math with Johnny Wynn. So today we're going to go over compound interest, and we're going to actually go over its formula. So I taught you guys compound interest, but I actually didn't teach y'all the formula. I actually taught y'all the long way how to do these problems because I wanted you to understand what's going on, because if you just use the formula, you don't know what's going on. Actually, matter of fact, most students don't know what's going on for compound interest, so give yourself a pat on the back because y'all do. Alright, super quick review. I'm gonna speak a little faster because I want to get through this lesson quickly, alright? Or at least this part. So, simple interest, remember, is just interest on the money that you borrowed originally. So, if you borrow $100, right, and you borrow at 10% for 4 years, that means that you're going to pay 10% on $100 the first year, 10% on $100 the second year, 10% on the $100 the third year, 10% on $100 the fourth year. Now, if it's compound interest, then you're going to do 10% of 100 the first year, but then you're going to do 10% of 110 the second year, and then you get, which is $11. You add that on to 110, that's 121. Then you find 10% of 121, etc., right? So now that I've reviewed with you what simple interest is, compound interest, I'm going to introduce you the formula for compound interest. So instead of calculating the interest every single year type of thing, you could just use this formula. So it's going to be the original amount that you borrow, aka the principal, times 1 plus your rate raised to the power of t, which is time. So P is your principal, R is your rate, your interest rate, and T is your time. For example, if I told you to find, if you borrow $100, right? If you borrow $100 at 10% interest for 2 years, dang, I should have made this cleaner, but it's all good. $100 for at 10% for 2 years, right? Earlier, what I would have made you do is 100 times 0.10, which equals 10, and then I add that back onto 100. So I have 110 times 0.10 again, which is going to be 11. And then I'm going to basically add that on, so you get 121. And that's how you calculate it, right? But instead of doing that, you could just plug these numbers into this formula. So you would do $100 for P, 1 plus your rate, remember you got to convert it to a decimal, raised to the 2, and then you just enter this into the calculator. This is going to save you a lot of time when, for example, what if you borrow for 15 years? You don't want to do 15, you don't want to multiply 0.10 15 times. You just want to plug it into this formula and put it in your calculator, right? So yeah, another thing is that what I'm really big on as a teacher is that you understand what's going on. So when you read these problems, you're going to see this word. You're going to see it phrased like this, and I want you to understand what it means. Like, you borrow $150 at 7% interest, compounded annually. That's what I'm trying to talk about, compounded annually. That just means that the interest is compound interest, and this interest is happening every year for 3 years. Okay, you're going to see that on a lot of these problems. So I'm going to do number 1 and number 2 with you. All it is plugging it into this equation right here. This equation right here. Okay? That equation right there. By the way, if y'all didn't print it out, it's all good. Just use a separate sheet of paper. See? I'm gonna rewrite the formula one more time, like right here, just cause it'll be easier to see. I'm gonna do these first 2 problems, and then y'all do number 3 and 4. All right. If you don't have a calculator at home, at least set up the problem. But if you do have a calculator, if you have an iPhone, try it out with me, because it'll help you in the future. All right, let's try number 1. So I know so you borrow 150 bucks at 7% interest, compounded annually for 3 years. So 150 is my P, my rate is 7%, and my time is 3. I'm just gonna plug that into my formula. 150, 1 plus. Remember, you gotta move that decimal point over 2 times. 0.07 raised to the 3. If you don't have a calculator, leave your answer like that. If you do have a calculator, please practice, because it can get a little confusing on the calculator. I'm going to use an iPhone calculator just because I feel like that's what most people are going to be using. I'm going to zoom out. So we got 150 times, and then use this parentheses thing, 1 plus 0.07, use this parentheses thing again, and then raised to the 3rd power. You're going to have to click that thing that shows X with a small y on top of it. And once you click that, then you press whatever number that you need, which is going to be, see, it's raised to the 3rd power. Now I press 3. Then I press equal. So you're going to get $183.70. I'm going to round it to 76 cents. And that's all. Try number 2. We're going to try number 2 together, actually. Alright, so you borrow 200 bucks. That's your P. At an interest rate of 13%, so that's your R. Compounded annually. When you see compounded annually, you automatically know it's compound interest. It's not simple interest. For 5 years. That's your T. Just plug it into your formula. Again, your formula is P1 plus R T. I'm gonna plug it in. Alright, 200, 1 plus 0.13 to the 5th. Plug that into your calculator. $200 times parenthesis thing 1 plus 0.13 parenthesis thing raised to the 5th. You get $368.49. Alright, there you have it. Try number 3 and number 4. My head is hurting. Y'all have a good day. Ask any questions. Make sure you post 3 and 4 on the media album. Post it so I can see y'all doing your work. Again, if you don't have a printer, it's all good. Just do it on a blank sheet of paper. Peace out. Have a good day.